Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the TalkingWithHeroes.com talk show program. I am Bob Calvert, the founder, and also thank you for your service.us. And, well, I'm here at American Legion Post 5 in Colorado Springs. And a longtime friend of mine, Keith, called me a few days ago and was telling me about this incredible event that's going to happen here. So we're here. And Keith, if you could just first introduce yourself for people that haven't seen you on previous interviews I've done with you, about your service and what's happening here.
I'm Keith LaMee. I am past post commander, past district commander, past DEC, past president of Legion Riders, too many things past. Right now I'm working on the history of the American Legion Post 5 here in Colorado Springs, and with the national unveiling of the World War I stamp Turning the Tide on Friday out at the World War I Museum and Monument in Kansas City, we figured we would tie into that with our with us being the oldest American Legion post here in Colorado Springs. So with the United States Post Office, we're going to unveil the stamp. We have brought out items to represent the original doughboys that helped found this this American Legion Post.
Great. Hello, everybody here. Say hi. Hello. How about give a shout out to the troops?
Oh yeah!
All right. Okay, well, folks, we're gonna now turn our camera on the event. And for those of you watching, please share this on all your social media, YouTube, everywhere you can. Thank you very much.
I know a lot of people are pressed for time, so we're getting ready to start. We thank you very much. We're going to start with Pledge of Allegiance. Y'all face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to thank y'all for coming today for this special joint effort with the United States Postal Service and the American Legion. I've been working for the Post Office since 1988, so that's 30 years. So, Dean, you don't have to take your shoes off this time. I've been with Post 5 for 20 years. It's been in various stages of offices, and this past Friday they unveiled the World War I stamp Turning the Tide out at Kansas City in at the World War I Monument and Memorial. But I'd like to take this time and acknowledge our distinguished guest, Ron Oakes, Detachment Commander of Colorado, Dean Norshell, Senior Vice of the Department of Colorado, Mike Bargers from the District 7 Commander. I'm sorry I forgot your name. Mark? Margaret. He's with the district as well. Bill Easton, Commander of Post 5. We thank you for this opportunity to come in and do this presentation. Woodrow Wilson tried to keep us out of World War I by neutrality, but because of the submarine warfare and the discovery that Germany was trying to get Mexico to invade our southern borders, we finally declared war in April 1917. Eventually, over 4 million of our men and women answered the call. 2 million went overseas. Out of those 4 million, 43,000 came from Colorado. Why, it was the, using comparison to World War II, the casualty rate was much higher because this was the first time the machine guns were used in live battle. Of course, illness took many of our soldiers besides the actual combat. And as you look around, we do have Jesse Funk. He was Medal of Honor recipient from Calhan. That is a rubbing of his headstone. He came back and tried to keep a very low profile. The uniform is a quartermaster NCO uniform from World War I with dog tags and their company flag, and of course their Stinson. Over here on this, using the stamps for the for the Medal of Honor, all those have ties to Colorado that have received the highest honor. Next to it is the newspaper that declared, showing that Roland Jackson was killed in action. A lot of you all don't know who he is, but his father helped found Colorado College. He gave up his post at working at the Spanish embassy to come home, take a commission, and he was killed in action helping his men fall back to the aid station by the artillery burst. American Legion Post 5's charter from August 9th, 1919. That brought us here. And y'all complain about carrying the rucksacks that y'all did when you were in. Try carrying all your equipment in this. You need your toothbrush. You have to unroll the whole thing to get it out and then roll it back up. And it's not for people like me and Dean. Maybe somebody about the size of my wife could carry it, because I tried to put this on this morning and couldn't get past my elbows. But to put pictures to our fallen, 2 nurses from El Paso County died while on service overseas. Roland Jackson. Our first post commander, John Carruthers. He also founded the Soldiers Sailors Club that was meeting at the 28th East Bijou, where the American Legion Post 5 first started meeting before they moved here. Eugene Preston. I call him our soul of our post, because not only did he serve over there, he wrote poems. A book of it was published after his death in 1926, and only 1 copy can be found, and that's at the Penrose Library Special Collections. 2 other commanders that loved to show off that they were in uniform, and to show that this was a total, we have an African American from El Paso County that served. Eugene Preston had become a very important lawyer before his death. On his return, Carruthers couldn't keep his finger out of anything. He was the El Paso County District Attorney up until 1931, took on positions with the Broadmoor Hotel, the El Pomar Foundation, and other items. Our first Legionnaire to actually go up to the high office of president is Harry S. Truman, the first Legionnaire. Now, the Post Office has been long supporting the military. They now have their kits that helps the families of the deployed to get their items out. And they give them a small discount when they use the large flat rate, which I think is a great idea. They've moved from being the amount where the postage have a certain amount to now when you buy stamps, they're forever. They are good no matter when you use them for a regular letter. So this stamp we're going to unveil is one of those. And I personally like a lot of the stamps, because like the old beautiful stamps that were released on July 4th at Memorial Park to mark Kathy Bates' Writing America the Beautiful. Those are some phenomenal stamps if you haven't seen them. But art director Greg Breeding designed the stamp based on an illustration by Mark Schussman. It depicts a close-up soldier in the American Expeditionary Force holding the flag. You can see barbed wire, smoke, and an airplane in the background. It all invokes the posters from that era. But at this time, I'd like to introduce the Postmaster, JoLea. If you'd like to say a couple words before.
Well, good afternoon. Just want to say I'm honored to be here and wanted to thank you all for your service and dedication to our country. The military is near and dear to my heart, so I'm just honored to be here today, and I wanted to thank you, Keith, for organizing and just making sure that this event went off today without a hitch. So that being said, you ready?
Yes. This stamp is on sale right now. And Terry's is already probably gone through half their stock because Post 5 seems to buy their items from there.
Well, thank you for that as well.
Before we unveil this, I was originally thinking that we could say this was a rendition of Roland before he was killed. Unfortunately, it's not an infantry officer. It's an artillery officer. Gee, who would that be? John Carruthers. So, if you want to compare what the Mint does versus the post office, here's a copy of the Centennial coin from the Mint. So, if you're ready. Three, 1, 2, 3. I have a small gift for the Postmaster for having us come. It has the World War I stamp with the dual cancellation for the first day of the issue and then today. Gives you kind of the timeline how American Legion Post 5 came into the Legion, how we are a non-partisan group, a little background of our first commander and our spirit, and the original hut, which, believe it or not, we are standing in it right now. That was originally built in 1923. It's had 3 major facelifts since then.
Well, thank
And
you
we thank
so
you.
much. That is so nice. Beautiful.
I made up a set of 10 of these envelopes. 3 have been given as gifts. The other 7 are being sold. That flag is from a presentation flag from the city of Colorado Springs on our first anniversary. So that is from 1920. All the money that's being raised is going to, from these stamp envelopes, are going to be going to preserve that flag and eventually get it mounted so it can be back on the back wall so all can see it. So there are 2 sets left. If you want to see me, they're $10 for the set. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
We do have cake in the back with some iced tea. If you want sodas, you have to see the people in the other room. But any and all can come up and take photos now with whoever you want. We do thank you all for coming.
Thank you.